Hey everybody, today we've got a matchup between Joe Biden for the Democrats and Tulsi Gabbard for the Republicans. This was suggested to me in the comments, so let's get into it. Everybody knows Joe Biden. He's old, establishment Democrat, progressives, not a fan of him. His main strength is not being Donald Trump, but he's had success. He's the incumbent. He's not bad in the suburbs, so he has some strengths. Now, Tulsi Gabbard, I've done several matchups with her before, and she is hard for me to pin down. I think she elicits reactions on both sides. I've heard she's way too controversial. She used to be a Democrat. She's too cozy to Trump. Her economics are not that populist. She can't win. And then I've also heard she's a legend, a breath of fresh air. She's much more appealing than your typical establishment country club Republican or your evangelical Republican. She's at least going to push back a little bit more in a populist direction on economics. On cultural issues, she's going to fire up a lot of the Trump voters. She's going to speak about free speech. She'll be more anti-war and at least try to go after big business a little bit more than the establishment, and sometimes a little bit more is all you need. I think her appeal would be stronger than most typical Republicans, but since she does not fit neatly into a box, it is hard to say. Plus, most of the media I don't think would be too kind to Tulsi. They're going to be much more friendly to Joe Biden. Gabbard would shake up the system more than Biden, so there's a lot of question marks. You could emphasize different things and say she would dominate. You can emphasize other things and say Biden would dominate. I'm going to try to balance it out. So let's get started. In Alaska, that I think will be over 10 points, safe for Tulsi. Hawaii, safe for Biden. The West Coast, Washington, Oregon, California, those are going to still be safe for Biden. Now we've got Nevada. It's a competitive state, might be trending a little bit toward the right. Republicans have had some success and some disappointments there. I don't think Biden has overwhelming appeal there, and I think Tulsi Gabbard could actually flip the state. I do have it going to her by a tilt margin. Idaho, Utah, safe for Tulsi. Now we've got Arizona. This is a tough call. I sat here, went back and forth on it. Tulsi does have a military background. That could put her over the top, but I think the suburbs are going a little bit too far to the left, and she could win it, but I settled on a tilt for Biden. Montana, Wyoming, safe for Tulsi. Colorado, I think, would dip down under 10 points, probably 9.5 points, likely for Biden. New Mexico, probably 5 to 6 points, likely for Biden. North Dakota, South Dakota, safe for Tulsi. Now we've got Nebraska at large, that's going to be safe for Tulsi. How about the 2nd District? Trump won it in 16, he lost it in 20. I think Tulsi could win it, but I was a little bit more confident in it going to Biden, probably by about 1 to 2 points, so it's going to be leans for Biden. Kansas, Oklahoma, safe for Tulsi. Down in Texas, that's still going to be over 5 points, likely for Tulsi. Now we've got Minnesota. This is always a tough state. It's usually bluer than it looks on paper, and maybe it does get much closer, but I do have it going to Biden by a 5 to 6 point likely margin. Iowa, likely for Tulsi, high single digits. Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, safe for Tulsi. Now we've got Wisconsin, a tough swing state. After considering all the trends, trying to anticipate the margins and the turnout, I settled on a tilt for Tulsi. Illinois, safe for Biden. Michigan, another state where it is possible Tulsi could shake it up enough to win it, but to be safe, I settled on a 1 to 3 point win, leans for Biden. Indiana, safe for Tulsi. Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, safe for Tulsi. Down in Florida, that's going to be over 5 points, likely for Tulsi. One state north to Georgia. This is a state I sat on a while, went back and forth on, so it could go either way. The Atlanta suburbs clearly trending toward the Democrats. Tulsi is not your conventional candidate. She could activate new voters. I don't think she would be as reviled as Donald Trump, so eventually I went with a tilt for Tulsi. South Carolina, safe for Tulsi. North Carolina, leans for Tulsi. Let's jump up to Ohio. That'll be likely for Tulsi. West Virginia, safe for Tulsi. Up to Maine at large, that'll be mid-single digits, likely for Biden. The 1st District will be safe for Biden. The 2nd District, at least mid-single digits, probably high single digits, likely for Tulsi. New Hampshire, I think, will be a leans for Biden. Vermont, New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, and Washington, D.C., safe for Biden. Let's take a look at Pennsylvania. This is another one where I think it could go either way. It's very difficult to anticipate the turnout, so in the end, I settled on a tilt for Biden. And the last state is Virginia, and that's going to be mid-single digits, likely for Biden. So there's your final map. That comes out to 271 for Biden, 267 for Tulsi. So it's a very close one, and of course it's the usual states: Nevada, Arizona, Wisconsin, Georgia, Pennsylvania. They could go either way. I'm not confident in this map. I think Tulsi Gabbard does scramble some of the margins, and it's very tough to predict the base turnout for Tulsi, the progressive turnout for Biden. Which way the independents would go, I would think in most states they would lead slightly toward Tulsi, but you never know. Maybe the media just hammers her, and she's cast as some fringe lunatic. She gets no crossover vote from former Democrats, no new voters that want to come out and support a different type of candidate, and she could get wiped out. That's possible. Biden could have a health scare. He could have a scandal. There's no question Tulsi, I think, is capable of winning this. It's basically a coin flip with this close of an electoral margin. On the specific issues, it's going to be tough. Biden is going to go hard for labor in the Rust Belt. I think on economics, that's going to be his best bet. On culture, I think Tulsi Gabbard would appeal to those working class voters. And I've heard so many times that progressives on labor are absolutely disappointed with Biden. All he's done is talk big, throw them a few crumbs, and that's just not good enough. So they might sit home, they might want to hear what Tulsi has to say on economics, and actually would like to hear where she would stand on some specific issues. As I always say, if she goes into healthcare, working conditions, wages, that would help her a lot. The other cultural related issues of education, free speech, crime, immigration, that all does matter, and I think Tulsi would be stronger, but you got to have at least a little bit of economics to go with the social and cultural. So this is a difficult matchup. I think it's a fascinating one. I would love to see these two have a debate and actually run a serious campaign. Some Republican voters might distrust Tulsi because she did used to be a Democrat. She was kind of in the middle and independent for a while. Then it seems like she definitely went toward the Trump direction. So I don't know exactly where she would stand on a lot of issues. Again, on your map, you're going to emphasize different things, and that's going to change the margins. I tried to go pretty much down the middle of how I think it would go. It's tough, but this is the map that I settled on. Let me know in the comments, how do you think this matchup would go? Which states would you change? Let me know down below. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.